I never thought a quiet creek behind my cabin could cost me 50 grand. But the HOA across the ridge decided my little dam, a waist-high wall of river rock, was a threat to their property values. Last spring, I woke to a certified letter taped to my door, $50,000 in fines. Their claim? My handmade dam might redirect water and endanger the entire neighborhood. It was laughable. My dam was smaller than their backyard koi ponds. I called the number on the notice. A clipped voice, Karen, the HOA president, answered. Remove the dam or pay the fines. Daily penalties start tomorrow. She hung up before I could speak. What they didn't realize was that the creek they were so worried about was the very creek that drained their manicured subdivision. And my dam? It was the only thing keeping spring rains from turning their perfect lawns into a swamp. I stared at the letter, equal parts furious and amused. They wanted the dam gone? Fine. But when the next thunderstorm rolled in, I planned to give them exactly what they demanded, and a front row seat to their own mistake. My cabin sits on 10 wooded acres just outside Willow Bend, Texas. I'd bought the land years ago, drawn by the sound of running water. The creek was seasonal, harmless, until heavy rains swelled it into a brown ribbon that slid past my property line and down toward the new development called Cypress Ridge Estates. Cypress Ridge was HOA heaven. Pristine lawns, color-matched shutters and rules for everything from mailbox height to when you could roll out your trash can. Their president, Karen Delaney, wore power suits to mow her yard. I'd met her only once, when she marched up my gravel drive, complaining that my chickens smelled rural. I remember her saying, "This neighborhood has standards even if you technically live outside it." When I built the dam, really just stacked rocks and a timber brace, it wasn't for revenge. I wanted a calm pond to attract herons and keep the soil moist through the dry months. County inspectors signed off. It met every code. Then came the letters. First, a friendly reminder to remove the unauthorized structure. Next, a formal notice of violation citing HOA water rights clauses that didn't even apply to non-members. Finally, the certified $50,000 fine. I called, emailed, even brought the county permit to a board meeting. They refused to let me inside. From the doorway, Karen smirked. "Our attorneys say we're within our rights. You can pay or you can litigate. Good luck with that." Neighbors whispered apologies in the parking lot. One muttered, "You're not going to win." That was just the beginning. The next week, HOA inspectors trespassed onto my property, photographing every inch. I caught one measuring the dam with a tape. When I asked for a warrant, he claimed the creek was shared property. I installed trail cams. The footage showed them cutting my fencing to check erosion. Then came the sabotage. One morning, I found sandbags piled in my driveway, blocking the county road. Another night, my mailbox was stuffed with wet cement. Sheriff's deputies shrugged. Civil dispute. Karen escalated to daily fines. $1,000 per sunrise, mailed in thick envelopes like trophies. She posted community bulletins calling me a reckless hermit endangering families. I tried humor. I hung a sign on the dam. Warning, dangerous level of common sense ahead. She responded with a cease and desist. Friends urged me to lawyer up. My attorney explained the truth. They can't enforce a dime. You're outside their jurisdiction, but they can bury you in nuisance suits. And they did. I received 3 summonses in 2 weeks each demanding I appear before the HOA's special tribunal. It was theater. No legal teeth, but plenty of headlines. Local papers ran Karen's quotes about irresponsible backwoods engineering. When a late summer thunderstorm turned the creek into a chocolate torrent, I watched the dam hold beautifully. Downstream, their drains gurgled but stayed dry. Proof my structure protected them. I sent Karen a photo of her own subdivision bone dry with the caption, "You're welcome." Her reply came minutes later. "Remove it or face court-ordered demolition." That's when I realized they didn't just want the dam gone. They wanted control. So I stopped defending myself and started planning. I combed county archives and discovered a delicious irony. The HOA's storm drain system, built on the cheap, relied on the very creek they accused me of endangering. My dam was their best insurance. Next, I checked rainfall data. A stalled front was forecast to dump 5 inches in 48 hours. Timing, as they say, is everything. I called my buddy Ray, a retired engineer. "Think your backhoe can handle a midnight job?" He chuckled. "Depends how much beer's in the deal." 2 nights before the storm, we worked by moonlight. We removed the keystone. Logs stacked the rocks neatly downstream and hauled the debris away. By sunrise, the creek flowed free and fast like it had before, except the banks were now slick and unstable from months of backing water. I left a friendly voicemail for Karen. "Per your repeated requests, the dam has been removed. Best of luck with the rain coming Friday." Her text pinged seconds later. Finally. I slept like a baby. Friday afternoon, the sky turned pewter. By dusk, sheets of rain hammered the valley. From my porch, I heard the creek roar louder than any season before. Without the dam to slow it, the water raced downhill like a released arrow. I sipped coffee and waited. At 2 a.m., sirens wailed. I grabbed my raincoat and drove toward Cypress Ridge, streetlights, reflected off a brand new lake where their playground had been. Water surged over curbs, swallowing azalea beds and creeping up those regulation-perfect driveways. Neighbors in robes hauled sandbags, shouting over the storm. Children watched from upstairs windows as garden gnomes floated by. And there was Karen, ankle-deep phone, pressed to her ear, mascara running like war paint. She saw me and screamed above the rain, "This is your fault!" I raised an eyebrow. "You mean for doing exactly what you ordered?" The county's emergency crew arrived, but their pumps were no match for the surge. The subdivision's own drains were the choke point. Without my dam's slow release, the system simply drowned. Reporters showed up at dawn. When they asked for comment, I simply gestured to the water and said, "Nature abhors arrogance." By afternoon, the flood receded, leaving a muck of ruined sod and floating patio furniture. Insurance adjusters were everywhere. Karen tried to file a claim against me. The county inspector laughed. He had a permitted structure. You demanded its removal. The HOA board voted that evening to remove her as president. Justice in slow motion. The creek is quiet again. I rebuilt the dam, not as a wall, but as a series of gentle terraces approved again by the county. Herons returned. So did the peace. Karen? She sold her house and moved 2 counties over. The HOA now sends me holiday cards. Irony tastes better than coffee. Here's what I learned. Control without wisdom invites its own downfall. They mistook authority for power, and water taught them the difference. So what would you have done? Would you have fought in court or let gravity prove the point? Drop a comment with "justice served" if you stayed to the end. And tell me, if an HOA tried to fine you for protecting their homes, how would you respond? Remember, sometimes the best revenge isn't to fight the storm. It's to step aside and let it rain.